I started my self-publishing journey at the end of last year. Let's take a look at how much I made through Amazon KDP in September of 2023. First of all, I asked you, the YouTube community, whether you wanted to see me do these videos in US dollars or British pounds. A whopping 86% of you said US dollars, so moving forward on this channel, we're going to do all royalties in dollars. Now, let's get going and see how many books I sold in September. So at the end of August, I set myself 3 goals for September. That was to publish 5 books, reduce my ad spend on older books, so basically stop running ads that weren't profitable to older books, and to make more YouTube videos. I can happily say that I published 5 books, I've reduced my ad spend on the older books, and I've made a fair amount of YouTube videos this month. Looking at September as a whole, I ended up publishing 5 medium content books. 2 of them were my bumper colouring books, 2 of them were niche down colouring books, and I also made the owl colouring book which I covered on this channel. From those 5 new releases, 2 of them ended up getting the hot new release tag, which generally means they sold quite well within the first week or so. And then I don't know if you saw my Etsy video, if not you can check that out in the corner, but I launched my first Etsy shop as well. Now looking at my sales for the month of September, I managed to get 398 sales on Amazon. You can see there's no real spike below, there's just natural fluctuation and it's pretty steady for the whole month. Towards the end of the month, I did end up turning some ads down slightly, which is probably why the sales drop off a little bit towards the end of the month. So I've got 72 books, but if we look at my top 10 selling books, you can see that makes up most of the sales. So 349 of the 398 sales were from these top 10 books. And you can see from this bar chart below that the majority now are coming from this blue bar. That's one of my colouring books that I released last month, and that's selling organically now by itself because it's ranking really well for some fairly popular keywords. On here as well, throughout the whole month, the orange and the yellow bars are selling quite well. And they are a UK-based word search book and also a niche down colouring book. Going on to my income for the month, throughout the whole of September, I made approximately $745.76. Now, this number isn't exact because of currency conversion, but it's a very good estimation of how much I made for the month of September. Again, as you'd imagine, it reflects the bar chart of orders in terms of sales. But if we go down to my top 5 books, you can see that the number 1 book has earned almost $300 of that amount. So for me, that shows the power of Amazon KDP. If you can launch a book in a popular niche and get it ranking organically for keywords, that's the real opportunity for making money on Amazon. As we move into Christmas, I'd hope that that number continues to grow, and fingers crossed it really takes off in December. Now the 4 books below that are less popular niches, but the majority of them are organic sales as well. If we break it down by marketplace, you can see that the majority of my sales come from the US, but I do have some UK specific books, and that tends to be what sells quite well in the UK. I've also started some ads in Canada, so we're getting some sales in Canada, probably through ads and a few now organically. And then we just have a few from Australia, Germany and the Netherlands. If we take a look at how that looks month to month, it allows us to see whether we're growing, whether we're stagnating, or whether we're even going down in sales. And so if we look at the year to date on Amazon, you can see the start of the year was quite slow. And as I mentioned in previous videos, that's because we didn't really dial up the ad spend until sort of May, June time. So earlier on in the year, we were probably selling around 80 books a month. And now, as you can see in August and September, we're pretty much hitting 400 orders a month. I'm hoping now that as we come into Q4, that those numbers continue to increase. Especially in November and December, I'd really hope those to hit 500, 600, 700 orders in the month. That's how many books I've sold, that's my income, but I have spent money on ads as well. So we're going to have a look at how much I've spent on ads and how well they've performed as well. The majority of my ad spend is in the US. That tends to be where I try and get my adult colouring books to rank, mostly because they're spelt in the American way, but also because the American marketplace is bigger as well. So In the US, we spent over $400 in September. That is a large amount of spend to only get 59 orders. And as you can see there from the ACOS of 74%, that is just not profitable. But my strategy for Amazon ads this month has been, whenever I've got a new release, is to support it hard with ads at a high ACOS in order to get it selling. What I found that does is it helps Amazon start ranking that book for the keywords that you're selling it for, meaning that long term you're going to get more organic sales. Now, that doesn't always work. Not every book launch is going to be successful, but my number one book that's selling at the moment, that's exactly what I did, and that's now making me $200 to $300 every month organically. So going back to the ad spend in the US, $400 spent, 755 clicks, 59 orders. That's an order approximately, every 12 to 13 clicks, I'd imagine. Generally, you want it to be 1 in 10 at the most, but there were some books that performed better than others. And here we can see 3 of the ad campaigns I've been running in the US to launch these books. And I basically budget around $100 for a book launch, depending on the popularity of the niche. So these 3 books that I've launched, you can see that none of the ACOS are profitable. They're not going to be at 80-90%, but I have got some orders to these books. So moving forward into October, I would dial these ads back and try and bring that ACOS down closer to the break-even mark. And if I can't do that, I'd end up turning them off. So those were my big spenders in September. But then if we take a look at some ongoing ads that I've created, these are older books that are selling at a good ACOS. So it's not incredible amounts of orders, but that's because I'm bidding quite low and I'm not getting that many impressions on these books. But if we take these 3 ads, for example, I've added my ACOS in the campaign name so we can see whether they're profitable or not. And you can see here, just from September alone, we've got sales of a 17% at ACOS where the break-even's 19%, 11.92 where the break-even's 15%, and 14% when the break-even's 28%. So that hopefully shows you that it is possible to run ads at a profit. But they are 3 books out of my 70 odd books that I'm running ads for that are performing well in the US. A lot of the other ones have had to be turned off because the niche is too saturated, too popular, and therefore the clicks are too expensive. But hopefully this will show you that you can run ads profitably on Amazon KDP. Moving into the UK, I spent just over £100, which is about $130. I had a similar click to order ratio of probably 1 in 12, 1 in 13 clicks getting an order, but the ACOS was slightly lower in the UK. One of the most frustrating things for me in the UK in September was that I created a sports book targeted at a UK audience, and I was really happy with the product. I thought it was better than what was out there, and I went quite aggressive on the spend at the beginning of the launch. Unfortunately from this, you can see it had an ACOS of 162%. So I decided to turn the ads right down to a point where it wasn't really delivering, and in the end I turned it off. So what I think this is a good example of is to not get too attached to any book. This book, for example, only got 3 orders from spending £27. Now, unfortunately that means that it's probably not going to rank organically for the keywords that I wanted it to, but sometimes you just have to take your foot off the accelerator a little bit and accept that maybe this book isn't good enough. Now, that's probably what's happened here. I thought this book was good, but people clicking on the ad probably didn't. So this is going to go down as a bit of a failed launch example. But next we're going to come onto a successful launch. Now this is a book that I launched at the beginning of August. In August, the cost per click was much higher, but I've managed to drag that down now so it's 18 pence per click on average, and I'm getting a sale every 4 to 5 clicks, which is really impressive on Amazon. This is a word search book based in the UK, and due to these sales, it's now ranking organically for multiple keywords, and so this one's going to sell well over Q4. So if you're looking at your Amazon ads console and you're wondering whether your ads are performing well, this is an example of what a poor campaign looks like, and this is an example of what a good campaign looks like. Taking a quick look at Canada, I did experience some success in August, so I tried to dial that up in September, but I did find it challenging to get ads to serve without putting my cost per click prices really high. So in September, we kept the spend quite low in Canada, spending $9 Canadian, getting 3 orders, at about a break-even ACOS. We also ran some ads in Australia, but we only spent $22 to get 13 clicks and 0 sales. So you can see that US is my main marketplace, but then I do have some UK specific books which perform really well from the UK ads dashboard. And then I'm just testing a little bit in Canada and Australia. Coming on to the results of the ad spend across September, we got 1,179 clicks, spent an estimated $538, received 89 orders through ads. However, there might be some additional orders that trickle through from ads which aren't really captured here, but it's a good estimation. Now that accounts for 22% of my sales. So I'm really happy with that number, because that means an estimated 78% of all of my sales are organic. Now, at the end of the day, 100% of my sales being organic would be the dream, but I know that I need to spend some money on ads to get books ranking to increase organic sales in the future. Going back to the ad spend in September, it's costing me an estimated $6 per sale. Now, generally I make between $1.50 to $2 for a sale, so that is not profitable. Now, going into the profit for September, my income was $745. My ad spend was $538. My key main expenses is just my monthly Midjourney subscription, which is $36 a month, including VAT. I do have subscriptions to things like FABRICA, but I utilize that for lots of other things. And so that's not included in these hard costs. Putting all that together, that means my top line take-home profit for September is $171.63. In British pounds, that's approximately £140.70. So when we look at that take-home figure being just below $200 for all of the amount of work that I've put in through the month, it's a pretty poor hourly rate. And you might be thinking, so why are you even bothering with this business? Well, the answer is it's a business. It's not going to be completely profitable from day one. In fact, when I launched in November, December last year, I was running at a loss until I hit that break-even point. Now, I'm currently running ads to try and rank new books for keywords, and all of those ads are running at a negative return on investment. So I've got a few things I could do. I could turn off all of my ads, and I would probably make between $400 to $500 a month based on the books that I've currently got published. So that's over double of what I'm making at the moment. So you might be thinking, yes, turn off all of your ads. It's a great idea. However, my target is to get to $1,000 profit per month. That's my first target with this Amazon KDP business. And in order to do that, I need to get books ranking for keywords and increase my organic sales. In order to do that, I need to invest time and money on ads. I think this is a good example of an Amazon KDP business that's still growing and doesn't have hundreds of books published. Now, I do expect that number to grow in the future, especially in November and December this year. If we take a look at month-to-month growth, we can see that in August, I had a bigger income, but I did spend more money on ads. So in August, we made $185, and in September, we made $171. That's relatively stable between August and September. Going into Q4, I'm really excited to see what that number grows to. So, thoughts for September. I had too many failed launches that I put a lot of ad spend behind. The main reason that these would have failed is either the product or the cover isn't strong enough, or I didn't do enough niche research to see what people wanted and to see what was selling on Amazon. Another thought is that colouring books are extremely competitive on Amazon, especially with AI-generated colouring pages. So I think that perhaps I should have diversified a little bit more and focused on things like word searches, puzzle books, crosswords, etc. But on a positive note, we've got a steady income and around 3/4 of my sales are organic, which is really important moving forward into December. Now, looking forward to October, these are my goals. I'm going to start researching Christmas niches and focus on Christmas and winter books. I want to publish 6 books in October, which is one more than September. And within those, I want to do 1 or 2 that aren't colouring books. I'm going to add 10 Etsy listings to my Etsy shop. And from that, I want to achieve 450 book orders and also my first Etsy order, because we all have to start somewhere. From those 450 book orders, I want to achieve $250 of monthly profit. So I need to be really on it with my ad campaigns, and I need to make sure that I have as few failed launches as possible. So that's my September, but I want to know how you've got on. So make sure to drop a comment below and let me know how your sales went in September. Now moving into October, this is where KDP gets really exciting because we're moving into Q4, and that means people are buying books for Christmas. So my advice is to start thinking about what people are going to buy at Christmas and in the holidays, and get those books made and published in October, giving yourselves time to launch them before that big Christmas boom. I hope this video was useful. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.